Alright, we should be live. It's Midweek Magic, it's the Brawl Builder Challenge, and as is tradition for me, I have built the commander that I am currently actively working on for the set. So, invalid deck, sure, we will change formats. So we are using Ashling the Limitless. I'll be crafting the rest of this deck in a moment. So I have actually sorted the deck out to 100 cards, so let's go over real quick Ashling's whole deal. So in the 1-drop slot, we have Path, Swords, and Lightning Bolt as our traditional removal spells. In the 2-drop slot, we have Bitter Triumph, Infernal Grasp. Any other removal hiding around here? Not really. Okay. So, we have other Ashling, who allows for card filtering and adds additional mana to help me cast spells with mana value 4 or greater. Notably, Ashling's ability to grant... So I should probably go over Ashling herself real quick in case you haven't seen her. I'm sorry, I've been working on building her for like a month now, so I'm used to everybody knowing what her text is. But so 2 and a red for a 2/3 elemental sorcerer. Your elemental permanent spells you cast from hand gain evoke 4 as you cast them, which means that you can cast them for 4 mana. When they come into play, they'll be sacrificed immediately after that, but you will get any comes into play effects that the thing had. Also, whenever you sacrifice a non-token elemental, like the ones you just evoked, you make a token copy of that elemental. The token gains haste until end of turn, and at the beginning of your next end step, you sacrifice that token unless you pay the 5 colors of mana. Now, since she has that text on her, that means her color identity is actually all 5 colors of mana. So this is a 5-color deck, and it is very focused on putting huge elementals into play, getting their cool effects, and then getting a token copy of them with their cool effects that we can then smash the opponent's face in with. The deck is different from what I've been working on for regular Commander, because cards like Nim Deathmantle do not exist on Arena yet, so I can't just equip Nim Deathmantle to my things and save them from going to the graveyard after I've sacrificed them in order to get tons of value out of them. But anyway, getting back to the deck tech. So, Ashling Rekindled, notably, regardless of whether or not you're paying 4 to evoke it, the casting cost does not actually change. Like, the actual mana value of the spell does not change. So, as long as it was 4 or greater to begin with, Ashling Rhinebound's mana can be used to cast it. So, we can use Ashling Rekindled to find lands, and then Rhinebound to add additional mana for the casting of our elemental spells with higher casting costs. Chandra's Embercat is in here because it taps for mana and is itself an elemental to help us ramp out a little bit. Same with Flame Braider, only doing a much better job of it. Goblin Bombardment is here, both because we want to be able to sacrifice the ones that are already been... Like, once we evoke them, we can respond to the evoke trigger to sacrifice them by sacrificing them to something else instead for additional value. In this case, Goblin Bombardment to deal a point of damage. But also, if we cast an elemental normally and we want to sacrifice it rather than let our opponents kill it, so that way we can deal an extra point of damage and get a token copy of it at least until end of turn if we can't afford to pay the 5 colors at end of turn. That will still work. Also, notably, I don't have to sacrifice until my next end step, so if this happens during their turn, I will still have the creature through their turn back to my turn again before I have to decide if I'm paying for it or not. Most of the time, we actually won't be able to pay for it, but we can still do other cool things with it, so that's not a huge deal. Speaking of being able to sacrifice the creature for value, so since the tokens are going away at end of turn, the tokens do still have the mana value of the thing that they are copying. If you're newer to the game, you might be used to most tokens don't have a mana value because, it just makes a 1/1 soldier, and that soldier has no mana value. If you make a token copy of our friend Earthquake Dragon over here, though, the token copy's mana value is 15. So, you sacrifice that to Birthing Ritual, you get to pick any creature you want from among those 7 cards. So all of our tokens are super useful for that. You just have to stack the triggers appropriately so that you can sacrifice them to this before you're forced to sacrifice them to their own effect. Newfound Adventure is Farseek from the Final Fantasy set, and it is here for us to ramp mana with, as is Arcane Signet. Similar to the birthing ritual, while we will lose the original one, we can sacrifice the token to Pyre of Heroes. You have to activate it as a sorcery, so you can't ever sacrifice the evoked one, because there'll be a trigger on the stack making you sacrifice it already, and you can't respawn with a sorcery speed effect. But you can still sacrifice the tokens before the end of the turn in order to go find another elemental with a slightly higher mana cost and put it into play instead. Caretaker's Talent rewards us for tokens entering by drawing us more cards, lets us make a copy of a token, and eventually gives our tokens a buff so that they're actually stronger than the original versions. Reflective Rhymekin is an elemental that will copy the next instant or sorcery that we cast. Rhymekin Recluse is a 3/2 Mana War. That is an elemental. Broadside Bombardiers lets us sacrifice some of the higher casting cost elementals to deal massive amounts of damage, especially if the opponent can't actually block the Bombardiers that turn. If they only have like one creature out or whatever, or they have to block something else or just die anyway, the Bombardiers will allow us to then throw that creature at them afterwards to deal extra damage, since we're probably going to lose it anyway. Chomping Changeling. All Changelings are elementals by their nature, because they're all creature types, which means we can not only evoke this thing to get an additional copy of it afterwards to blow up 2 different artifacts or enchantments, but it also just has that utility of we can cast it normally. Risen Reef. Whenever it or another elemental enters, I get to look at the top card of my library. If it's a land, I can put it into play tapped, and if I don't reveal that it's a land, I can just put it into my hand. Riveteer's Ascendancy. Whenever I sacrifice a creature, I can return a different creature from my graveyard with lesser mana value to the battlefield tapped once per turn. And since I'm going to be sacrificing a lot of things anyway, Ashnod's Altar, even though we don't have access to Nim Deathmantle, is still a very good way to produce additional mana in order to cast more elemental spells in the same turn. Herald's Horn, not only does it let us potentially pick up more elementals, very similar to the stone in the 4-drop slot, whatever it's called, Gathering Stone, also reduces the casting cost. So, Evoke is still a casting cost. It's an alternate cost to cast the spell. So, if we reduce the cost of our elementals by 1, that means we can evoke for 3 mana. And if we can continue to reduce the casting cost of our elementals by stacking different effects that make them cheaper, this will continue to go down in price until we can evoke something, sack it to Ashnod's Altar, and actually go up mana for having cast it in the first place, so we can evoke our next elemental. Also, it helps us find more elementals to cast. Anointed Procession means instead of getting 1 token, we get 2 tokens, and that means we can probably kill our opponents very quickly just by evoking an elemental or 2. We have Beza, who is an elemental. Notably, Beza is legendary, so if we got multiple token copies of it, we would only get to keep 1 of them, but they will all come into play. And as long as it continues to be true that we still have less stuff, so if our opponent has like 6 cards in hand and we top-decked Beza on an empty hand and evoked it, and then got multiple token copies of it, we would get to draw multiple cards, possibly keep gaining life until we're back up in the same range as the opponent, and make a bunch of 1/1s if we still control fewer creatures than them. And we will choose 1 Beza to keep before we resolve all of the triggers from them, so the other Bezas won't count towards whether or not we control more creatures. So we can potentially gain a ton of life and put a bunch of bodies onto the board with Beza, even if we don't get to keep all of the token copies of it right away. Wrath of God, because we need board clears. Damnation's also here below Graveshifter. Graveshifter is a changeling, so therefore it's an elemental, so if we evoke it and get a token copy of it, notably, we will have sacrificed it already, so the token copy can get back the original Graveshifter, among other things. Grief is an elemental that we can evoke with its own effect, or with Ashlings, depending on the situation. Champion of the Path, a little dangerous because it is very vulnerable to being counterspelled, which is going to come up in this format, because it is an additional cost to exile the thing, and you do not get the thing back if the spell gets countered. But it does potentially deal a ton of damage when elementals enter, especially if we're using things that copy the triggers, which we'll get to in a minute. Parallel Lives is the green Anointed Procession, and the precursor to it. Twin Flame Travelers doubles up on our elemental triggers. Gathering Stone is a slightly more expensive, slightly more powerful Herald's Horn. Panharmonicon doubles up on our triggers. Roaming Throne can name elementals and double up on our triggers. Elish Norn can double up on our triggers. There might be a theme here. Erdu. So Erdu allows us to convoke to cast our spells, which means we can tap creatures to pay the convoke out. I believe we can do this with Ashling's ability. Like, we can choose to cast them with the evoke from Ashling, and then convoke the evoke cost. Even if we can't, though, Erdu also flips into Isalu, who gives all of our creatures persist, which means that the original one we evoke that gets sacrificed will then come back to the battlefield with a -1/-1 counter on it, and we will still have sacrificed it, and we will still make the tokens. So, and it's an elemental god, so we can also cast it. Or just evoke it if we desperately need to. Solitude, same as Grief. Most of the elemental incarnations, well, 3 of them are here. I didn't bother with Endurance, and Solitude actually, or not Solitude, Subtlety actually does not do much with our deck, so. Valkyrie's Call, very similar to Isilu. Whenever one of our non-token, non-angel creatures dies, you return it to the battlefield under its owner's control with a +1/+1 counter on it. It gains flying and is an angel in addition to its other types. So, of note, if both of these are in play, what can happen is the first time the creature dies, we can return it to the battlefield with a 1/1 counter on it as an angel, and then if it dies again, let's say we sacrifice it to Ashnod's altar, we can then bring it back with Isilu as a persist creature instead, because it didn't have a -1/-1 counter on it. Now it's back in play with a -1/-1 counter on it. If we sacrifice it again, it came back, it was not an angel anymore. Like, the enchantment is not an alchemy card, it's not perpetual. So, the creature left play, it is no longer an angel and no longer has flying, and it was not a token when it died again, so we can just keep going at that point. Mole Drifter is the mayor of Value Town, and we will be honoring his mayorship with a spot in the deck. Also, he draws a ton of cards, hence his ability to generate value. The Cavaliers, from whatever M set this was, before they got reprinted in one of the Jumpstart things. So Cavalier of Gales, 5/5 flyer, when it enters, I get to Brainstorm. When it dies, I get to shuffle it into my library and scry 2. So if we evoke this thing, I will get to Brainstorm, put the 2 worst cards back, sacrifice this thing, shuffle those cards away, scry 2, and then get a token copy of it that will then let me draw 3 new cards and put 2 back. I think that seems good. I think that seems like a ton of power. Dictate of Erebos, because we're going to be losing our creatures, so our opponents might as well be losing theirs also. Mahad's Feather's Knight. Similar to Beza, it's a legendary elemental, so we won't be getting a ton of copies of it. But it does make all of our creatures, all of our opponents' creatures, base toughness 1, and I don't know how we're going to take advantage of that, but we'll find a way. We will find a way, right, Fury? We'll figure this one out. And Magmaw. Magmaw can deal a point of damage to things also. Somehow or other, we will figure out a way to turn Maha's effect into a powerful advantage for us. Terror of the Peaks, because we're going to have a lot of elementals entering. Also, we have a bunch of things that double up on our triggers, so we might as well, you know, have those triggers win us the game. Doubling Season. The original Parallel Lives, which is the original Anointed Procession. Ashling's Command lets us clone one of our elementals as a token. Notably, if we copy So doubling season on all of these, if they make copies of the elementals from Ashling's effect, because it is the same source creating them, they will all have the sacrifice at the end of turn unless we pay Wooburg. But if we make token copies of those tokens, the new tokens will not have that effect because they were not created by Ashling or by the Evoke, so we won't have to sacrifice them for any reason. So we can effectively clone some of our things, and then we can draw cards or make treasure as is appropriate, or even deal the 2 damage if that's super relevant. Yarok is an elemental horror that copies triggers. Farewell is my least favorite wrath ever printed because it's so stupidly overpowered compared to other wraths, so it's on the list. Shine Striker is a nod to our good friend and mayor of Valuetown, Moldrifter. So, lots of extra cards drawn, hopefully. Rottenmouth Viper is absolutely dumb. So, as an elemental snake, the original one will come into play and trigger and get its counter, and then the opponents will have to choose if they want to lose 4 life or sacrifice a permanent or discard a card. Right? That is one of the other options, is to discard a card. Lose 4 life unless they sacrifice a non-land permanent of their choice or discards a card. Yep. So then, after that, we will then sacrifice the Rotten Mouth and get a token copy of it, at least one, and then that token copy will get a counter, and they'll have to make that decision again. And then the token will have haste and attack, and we'll get another counter, and then they'll have to make that decision 2 more times. And that's assuming that Doubling Season is not in play to double up both the number of counters that this thing is getting and the number of tokens that we're making in order to just outright murder the opponent by itself. Yargle and Multani. We won't get extra token copies, but it is an 18 power creature, and throwing that directly at our opponent's face with haste for 4 mana seems like it's a game-winning strategy. Mouth of the Storm, 6/6 flying, ward 2. When it comes in, opponent's creatures get -3/-0 until end of turn. So most likely, we will be giving our opponent's creatures -6 power until our next turn, and having a 6/6 flyer to attack them with. Thorn Elemental is a 7/7 that can deal damage as though it weren't blocked, even if it is. So it'll be very difficult if we make a couple of token copies of this with haste for our opponents to block and live. Titan of Industry is a massive naturalize, plus a way to protect our creatures that are going to live, or just to make a 4/4 token while we're at it, because why not? And each time it comes in, because if we sacrifice this one and make token copies of it, we get to make whole new choices. Omnath. Every time an elemental dies, it deals 3 damage to any target, including itself and the tokens that it can make, but also all of our other elementals. Null Drifter is an elemental. So, while we won't get the additional draws that we would have gotten for Moldrifter because it's a cast trigger, so the tokens won't draw us extra cards, the tokens are 4/4 flyers with Annihilator 1. So, that's still pretty powerful. Sunderflock will bounce our opponent's board without touching any of ours. And Earthquake Dragon is a 10/10 with a casting cost of 15. And also an ability to come back to our hand after we have sacrificed it. So we might be able to cast it again on a subsequent turn. If, the 10/10 Flying Trample was not good enough to kill our opponent the first time. As for the mana base, so I have done 5-color mana bases before in Commander. And the way I normally do it is 10 duels, 10 shocks, 10 fetches, 5 basics, and 5 utility lands. We went with a similar strategy here. There are 5 basic lands, then there are the 5 shock land, or the 10 shock lands rather, in each color. Then there are the 10 triomes to help out the mana base, since we won't have access to the original dual lands. Then we have the 10 fetches still. And for the 5 utility lands, let's see, we have Cavern of Souls is one of them. The World Tree is another one to help us with the 5 colors of mana. Command Tower, Echoing Cavern, which is from the new Alchemy set, which can seek an elemental for us, in addition to doing other things. Gemstone Cavern to help us ramp a little bit. Is that all 5 of them? I think that was all 5, right? Gemstone Cavern, Echoing Cavern, Command Tower, Cavern of Souls, and Tree. Okay, so those are our 5 other lands. So let's craft the rest of the deck. I cut a bunch of mythics, but it still hurts a tiny bit. It's fine, though. We'll do cool things with the deck. Alright, so that was the entire deck tech. That's 20 minutes already. So let's get in there and do the thing. Oh, hey, we're playing against a Johnny. I'm sure it'll be fine. Alright, well, I do have a green tri-land and the ability to go fetch another tri-land. Ooh, land tax. That's neat. And I will eventually get ahead on lands on them, so they'll be able to get a few planes out of their deck. Oh, hi, Daxos. Alright. Alright, so we need black and red off of this. And we have a bunch of green spells, so I suppose we want to get Zeatora's Proving Ground then. Yes, yes, you get to trigger your thing. Oh, nice for you. He is an enchantment, right? So we can disenchant him with Chomping Changeling if we want to. Or we can destroy the land tax so they stop getting extra lands. Plus, if we destroy the land tax, I was going to say that will take away some of the devotion, so we can then Lightning Bolt Daxos if we want to. Alright, so green and 1, 2. The other option is to just get Ashling online now, but I think we will start with this, so let's kill that. Actually, I don't care about Daxos, so we're going to kill that thing. They can put their 1/1 counter on Daxos. Because otherwise they'll gain life from a creature dying, and then, yeah. Alright, we're just going to take 3 for right now. Alright, we might actually need to get Ashling online first, so I don't just die here to all their stuff. Are they going to be rude to Ashling now, looking at her? Well, Ajani only deals damage to tapped creatures, right?
My wards. Thank you for your aid.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think I'm just going to fall too far behind at this rate, so... Yeah, I really needed a land here. I need to start drawing lands, is the thing. Hey, oh. I'll keep them down for a little bit, but not too long, unfortunately.
My axe will do me justice. Your size belies your bravery.
Oh, hey, there's a land, finally. Do I have time? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Just barely. Alright. Let's hope I don't randomly die here.
Side by side we fight.
This is gonna be close. Oh, just 10? Okay. They're at 33. And deal 20 damage to them real quick. Yeah, I think I need to draw land here for Omnath, and I might have been okay. Because I can deal... I can kill like 3 of their creatures here just by him existing, but I think it's a little too late now. We evoke Omnath. He dies. He triggers. So we want to kill... an Offensa first. Keep that Omnath. Kill that thing. And... this one. Yeah, unfortunately it just makes their one thing, like, way too big. I'm gonna have to chump block it next turn and still lose. Yep, I just came up a tiny bit short, mana-wise. Ah, well. We did almost get to do the thing. If I had not been a little too choked on mana, or maybe I was supposed to run out parallel lives the other turn, but yeah, now I have to chump and go to 2. So this is Damnation or go home. And it is not Damnation, we shall in fact go home. I should have killed their 13/13 and taken 2 damage. Almost. If they had not been a life gain deck, if they had just been a creature deck, we might have been able to kill them just with the dragon, but just a little bit of damage on them. But instead they gain like 40 life. So. This was my other option if I didn't want to build Ashling because I wasn't going to be able to mimic what I was trying to do on... in paper. Alright, oh, this seems fine. Let's see. Crack that. Let's see, I need... definitely green, black. Green, black, blue right now, probably, so Zagoth Triome. First. And I will not grief them yet. Okay. Hello, Shine Striker, how are you? I've not found a 4th land yet. It's a little concerning. Maybe we just want to run out the top land first. I'm going to go with Elemental. Wait, why does that enter untapped? Oh, it just enters untapped. I'm not gonna lie, I assume that thing entered tapped for some reason. Okay, now I feel a bit silly, because I was thinking I might fetch, like, a basic or something next turn. Alright, so... white, red... white, red, blue here, I'm guessing. So... that is... Rogren Triome? Yeah. Alright, so next turn, Verdant Catacombs can go get one of our other things and we can cast Ashling, and then it's a question of can they kill Ashling. Because if they can't, I'm pretty sure they're going to lose shortly after that. Alright, so right now they can go red, red, blue. So I need like 2 white or another blue and a green. Or they can go green, green. Yeah, this thing is like all over the place. You can technically cast it for like 3 different colors. They discarded Progenitus. Alright, so... yeah, let's get Ashling down. Verdant Catacombs. So, black, red, green, I think. Zeotor's Proving Ground. I could... like, triple grief them here, or double grief them. I would just double grief them right now, because I don't have that down yet. Or I could cast grief next turn, like, just normal cast it, and start taking cards from them. Both tempting. I think I'm going to wait. But... I might regret that if they kill Ashling here. On the other hand, I could just hard cast Grief next turn, and that would be fine. Well, now they get to hit me for 8, so that kind of sucks. Yep, and I missed on the land. Flaring Cinder, Wandering Minstrels. Alright, so I think I have to get rid of the removal spell that shuts off my thing first. That way I might actually be allowed to trade here. Notably, they do have their 5th land, so they would be able to cast their thing. I don't currently have a way to interact with it, so... yeah, I should have double griefed them the turn before. That's my bad. That's on me for not having played with the deck enough. I kind of knew that was the correct thing to do, too. Because now if I don't hit a land, I'm going to be in a ton of trouble. Okay, that does not actually boost toughness, so... yeah, it sucks. That sucks a lot. Yeah, that might be the one fault in this deck, is that it does not ramp particularly well. So, I have to draw my lands naturally. And it is a pretty mana-hungry deck by the end of it, so... and I am a mana short of getting to cast Thunderflock here. So I'm just gonna die because I'm stuck on 4 land and, like, nothing but 5 drops. So yeah, if I had have evoked Grief to take away both of their removal spells and Ashling were still in play, I think we'd be fine here. We certainly would have been able to dig for land and kill some of their stuff here, so... so So now they have 2 of those, which makes targeting their flyers nearly impossible. On the bright side, they're 2/2s, so I can just sweep them away. Oh, hey, a 2/2. Or a 3/2, rather. Yeah, now if I hit an untapped land, it's going to be... But I have to hit an untapped land for Ashling's command. On the bright side, we would be able to take the last card from their hand if I hit the mana for Ashling's command. Unless I want to draw 2 cards instead. Or make treasure. Never mind, they get to kill both my things and then kill me. Alright, this is over now. Because they literally get to go 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 damage. 16 damage. Alright. Well, that was my fault for not griefing them sooner. For trying to hold on to Yarok. Alright, we'll try again. And I haven't even run into, like, any of the scary things yet. I think this... I do have Ashling Rekindled in hand. I'd have to get red-blue or red-black. So probably red-black at that point because of the Bitter Triumph. When it goes first. Alright. Gonna try it. Just on the first land draw. Bloom Tender immediately. That's terrific. Alright, so Blood Crypt. Is it alphabetical? Yes. We will discard, I think at this point, Norn, because she's the furthest away from being castable. And missed on a land. Perfect. So if I miss on a land again, I might just be able to concede here. Because they're already going to be able to cast Morcant and Blight onto Ashling. Oh, nope, found a land. Yep, let's do that. Add the 2 red. Oh, right, she's not high enough casting cost. I literally cannot cast her here. So what am I doing then? I should have added a different color, because now I can't cast anything. Right, I'm thinking I was going to be able to cast her. Alright, well. That's fine, we can cast Beza next turn if they don't double Elf here. Or Elf and Proliferate. If they Elf and Proliferate, though, I'm not taking as much damage, so there's that. But yeah, if they just double Elf here and kill all my stuff. And by all my stuff, I mean my 1 Ashling. Yep, that's what they're doing. Let's play a 2-3. And hope it doesn't randomly get killed by all their elves. Because if I get to Beza here with Panharmonicon out, I'm going to feel pretty good, all things considered. But if they kill Ashling, then I think I just die. Please don't kill my Ashling. I mean, that's not great, but it's also not an elf, so I don't know that I super care here. Alright, take a ton of damage. Get a bunch of poison counters. Really use some land here, not gonna lie. I don't even get to draw cards because they have no cards in hand. Yeah, I don't even think this is good enough anymore. I did get 4 treasures, though, because they have more lands than me. Alright, maybe this can still work. I only got 4 treasures. So... cash in 3 of them. Play Ashnod's Altar. Activate Ashnod's Altar. Sack that. Sack that. Evoke the Mayor of Value Town. Alright, play my land. Oh. I need to full control before. I messed up already. Okay, let's see. Play Cavern of... Can I not play Cavern of Souls? Oh. Can I do anything else here? I have 4 more mana, so I can... running out of timeouts, so yeah. Alright, so I actually ran out of time, because I need to full control and sacrifice the Bezas, or not the Bezas, the Mole Drifters, to Ashnod's Altar initially. I had way too much going on that turn. I might have actually been able to win that too. That kind of sucks. But Arena's like, no. Even though you're doing stuff, we're not going to, like, extend the timer or make it stop. The timer has started now. And it's just like, I cannot play this entire hand out properly with Arena's controls in the amount of time you are giving me. Like, you are asking way too much right now. Alright, well, let's play some tap lands. Hope we find our 5th land, or our 4th land on time. 4th land at least, 5th land would be good. Yep, discard a card. What? Was he always bottom of library, or is that an alchemy thing? I don't think he used to be put that card on the bottom of your library to draw a card. Like, is that an alchemy thing? Or was he always put a card on the bottom, draw a card? Yep, now they don't get to return anything, because there's nothing to return. Okay, I take another point of damage. I can get black-blue here. I can get Watery Grave. Alright. I run out Ashling, she probably just dies the first time, and that sucks. I can, however, just get her back with Graveshifter, if that happens, rather than put her in my hands. I think that's what I'm going to do here. I'm assuming that they're going to be able to kill Ashling here, so I'll just let her go to the graveyard, play Graveshifter, get her back. That happens. Oh. Jumping Changeling is going to take care of that enchantment real fast. Alright, and Ashling did not die. So. Although Grub can get the enchantment back, because this doesn't exile, right? Yeah. Blight onto anything to make a token copy of it? Nope. Alright, I will still kill this thing because it's still giving them filtering. I'll take the 1 extra damage. Alright, so play the land first. Cast Chomping Changeling. Kill that. Why are you lit up like I can do anything with you? That is bewildering. Why is it acting like I can... Oh, because they cost X less, so their evoke cost is 1. That's why. Their own abilities, because... Yeah, okay, because the Changeling is a dragon. So it costs X less, where X is the mana value of that dragon. Gotcha. Which means I could evoke the Thunderflock and bounce their tokens instead. Yeah, let's do that one first. Right, that's why they're lit up, because they both have alternate casting costs and cost reduction effects at the same time. So the same thing I was thinking about with the other ones also works with that. So they can get back their enchantment, but they can't cast it yet. So I can hit them for 20 next. Oh no, wait, the token won't have haste. But we can make Ashling trigger twice and make 2 token copies. So that should kill them next turn if they don't kill Ashling here. They might kill Ashling here. Look. Ah, Village Right, sure. Alright, I think we have them. I mean, you gotta flip over Wart, or Grub, rather. Otherwise, what are you running her for? Unless they desperately need the mana. Yeah, we're gonna have 20 damage in the air next turn. They don't kill Ashling here. Yeah, this is one of those things that I would not be running in regular Commander, but because of Brawl. I completely forgot, though, that my Changelings were going to make it so that this thing only costs, like, you know, no mana to evoke. I did know that the other things worked with, you know, elementals, but I kind of forgot that the casting cost was going to go down for dragons. I should have realized it faster with the flock, but I'm forgetting that it's getting a cost reduction also. Oh, opponent's brain is broken. They don't know if they can afford to flip grub here. And they are out of time. Okay. So they did not get to see my cool thing, but that's alright. We were going to do it anyway. Alright, so we've actually won a game now. We should have been able to win that one where I timed out, but... So it goes with Arena. Hey, I actually need one of those in paper still. That's like the last card I'm missing to finish off the Final Fantasy set. Is Emmett. Oh, it's Irdu. 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 It's that big fancy elemental that I'm also running. Alright, so we're going to keep Land Alpha Triumph first because it's our top land. Name elementals with our cavern, of course. Try and get there with Ashling. Probably discarding Earthquake Dragon right now. I have no changelings, so even shenanigans aren't going to help. It depends on what we draw, though, but... Oh, we drew our Erdu. Alright, so name elementals. Cast this one. Maybe we discard Magma instead, because we might still be able to get them with the dragon. High swords. Alright, Oh, we can't flip her because we don't have blue mana from any of these yet. Hi, Basri. Hi, Zach. Hey, oh. So now cast Ashling. Can't convoke Erdu, right? Yeah, just flying in lifelink. Oh, come on. You're killing me with this land thing. This is like the third time we're gonna lose because I can't draw a fourth land in time. Although they also missed a land drop, I believe, right? We were not on the play? Maybe we were on the play, maybe they didn't. Okay. Draw 2, make a treasure. Alright, fourth land, please. No. Still no. We're gonna keep going because the opponent also isn't doing much of anything, but eventually they are going to start winning this game and I am just going to die. Because I can't actually do anything. Yep, there's Erdu. Let's just go ahead and swords Erdu, make them recast it. Thank you. Alright, so I need to get white blue here. So I need to get Hallowed Fountain untapped. And cast Roaming Throne, naming elementals. Alright. It's fine. Grand Zenith, sure. Make some tokens. Fortunately, oh, they're gonna buff their team, sure. That's also fine. I'm gonna say, fortunately, the ward on my throne will stop the... So flip her, double trigger. Let's see. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So cast my Erdu. So now my creatures have a Voke. So yeah, we can actually evoke. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Evoke Cavalier of Gales. Alright. So draw 3. Put back 1... 2. Draw 3. Yeah, I still don't really need those two. Alright, sacrifice that one. I'll make 2 more token copies. Ah, I did them in the wrong order though, because I meant to shuffle first. Oh, Farewell is going to be really good later. Still haven't found a land, though. Oh, hey, Rottenmouth, how's it going? Still haven't found a land. There we go. Found Xander's Lounge, finally. And a Flooded Strand. Shuffle the original back in. Yeah, Beza's fine here. Alright, yeah, let's play Flooded Strand. Let's crack Flooded Strand real quick. Shuffle the other things away. I don't really need Beza at the moment. cut short on Ashling. Fine. Yeah, let's put her over there. Solve my Flooded Strand. Go get... I think Godless Shrine, plus I actually have to, do something here. Alright, well, the 2 5/5s are going away at end of turn, so let's hit them for 10 real quick. But yeah, I think this is holding up Path to deal with their thing first. Alright, scry 2. I don't think I need those right now. Nope. Be better. Use the other one. Scry 2 again. Actually, I will keep that. I want the island too, so I can potentially cast... Wait, I thought I had Riveteers on top. Did I accidentally put that on the bottom? I did not mean to. Oh, it shuffled my deck because of the other thing. So discard... Valkyrie's Call, and... Mole Drifter at this point, I think? Oh, need to hold full control here. Yep. Alright, so draw my island. Triggers. I can only use this to cast higher casting cost spells anyway. Yeah, let's do the black for Rottenmouth here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 to cast Ashling. 2 mana towards that. Can't sacrifice the other things though. Honestly, I think I just declined to transform either of them. Am I going to farewell their board here? Like, just hit them for 5 in the air, farewell their board, and then have... Ashling next turn, and I think the answer is yes. I think this is just punch them for 5. And let's clear this mess up. So get rid of their mana rock or treasure or whatever. Are there any enchantments? I don't have any. And I don't care about my graveyard, so yeah, let's just exile everything. Good job, farewell. Dumb magic card. Alright. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Lets me hold up Path. So, play Xander's Lounge. Cast Ashling. And hope she's still in play next turn to evoke this Rotten Mouth. Hey, Erdu, how's it going? Yeah, convoke a creature. Well, if you're not gonna convoke a creature, I'm just gonna path Erdu now. Ah, Avatar state. Okay. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2. Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3. So this would be 4 also. Alright, I'm down. What do I want? Is there anything I desperately need? Red. I only have 1 red at the moment, so sure, let's get the mountain then. I can make them chump with Erdu this turn. Instead. Yeah, that seems fine. Let's make them chump with Erdu. Quick 20 damage. But yes, I can get the original back. If I evoked it, that would be 3 triggers. I don't think that's quite good enough, because I would be able to sacrifice both of these. Right? Or no, I would have to sacrifice everything, because it still costs 4. I only have 2 mana. So yeah, I could evoke it, but I would have to sacrifice everything else to cast it, so... Okay. They can't survive the dragon coming back, regardless of what other cool stuff I might have done, so they're off it. Alright, we're up to 1 hour and 8 minutes, but I do want to get the 3rd win if we can, so... I'm getting actual mythics. Usually I get, like, a card that I already have 4 of from a set that I played a lot. So I just wind up getting 20 gems, but this time we've gotten 2 mythics for Midweek Magic. Alright, I should take the free mulligan here, because this is only 2 land, and one of the biggest issues we've been running into is not finding our 4th land on time. That looks way better. We are definitely going to keep this. Alright, so Tarn is... for the Mardu Triome, looks like. Yeah, let's do that. So... Savai. Because we already have a blue source here, and this will let us double up for any of our elementals, so... And with this thing reducing casting costs, we actually don't need to hit the 4th land right away. Well, they're going to name Elf or whatchamacallit, so that's not going to help me much. And I will, of course, name Elemental there. And here she comes. Ow. Now here she comes. Yeah? Oh, right, they don't have blue mana, actually. They did not have blue mana until just now, right this second. Oh. I'm gonna name Elemental. Yep, there she is. And I lost Null Drifter and Ashling's command. I'm actually a little annoyed about the command there, because that would have been helpful. Alright. That's actually potentially very potent with their commander, so... Yep, I would like to reveal that elemental and draw a different card for the turn. Alright, so we cast Arcane Signet, cast Ashling for 2 mana, and then we are going to evoke Fury by exiling the Flamekin from our hand. So, let's see, we go 1, 2... Sacrifice that, a new one comes in. Let's put it all on Marilyn, kill her. Attack them with our 3/3 double strike real quick. And pass the turn. They're down a bunch of mana, they're down their commander for a little bit. Yep. Yep, we're just gonna have to draw that naturally. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we want to cast Beza first. Get the free treasure. 1, 2, 3. So that's... I mean, we could cast Ashnod's Altar now, but... do I actually want to do that yet? Probably. Let's get that online, because it'll be helpful later. And Beza can hold off the 4/2 for a little bit. Immediately cash that in for a 3-drop elf. Probably Reclaimer then, would be my guess. Destroy one of my mana sources, or one of my... probably, at that point, Herald's Horn. Like, Altar is probably scary too, but... ah, no, they're going for her. Alright. Bunch of mana sources now. I was gonna say, really? Because you tapped all of your mana, so... yep. Just give me my land. Let's see... so... 1, 2, 3, 4, then 1... willing to sacrifice Beza. Oh, right. They have a Yavimaya out, so that just taps for mana here. I'm gonna name Elemental, of course. Yep, I will reveal Maha, because its feathers are night. So, we want to full control here. Red in 1, 2. Oh wait, does that actually help? Can't get double blue. Can cast Maha. But I do have to still sacrifice one of my things. What is the original? Is 6. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. I might supposed to wait one more turn. Especially since I'm taking too long. Alright. Because next turn I'm going to actually, like, absolutely explode, so. But they also might be able to go off. They're going to be able to get at least 2 triggers from Marilyn, and they might be able to hit, like, one of my disenchants. Ah, they hit Damnation. Good for them. I mean, it is, because now I don't have Damnation, but I wouldn't have gotten it anyway. Okay. And then sacrifice it. Now, they can't choose to cast Damnation because they don't have enough elves, but that'll change in a half second. Or longer, depending on how long it takes for them to decide on something. That's a really good one. Alright. They hit my Panharmonicon, and wow, Roaming Throne is actually terrifying here, because they can name Elf and double up on her triggers. But then they won't get to cast anything else this turn if they do that. They could also play the Panharmonicon, but if they wanted to. But that's not a 4/4 on the board. That is an elf. Alright, they're choosing the Panharmonicon. And we did make it to my turn. Okay. Yeah, so let that one happen first, because if we don't want it, we can mill it. With Maha in hand, I really do want that one. Alright. Alright, so we go red. And 1, 2. Cast Ashling. Then we want to full control. We want to go red. Sack Beza first. Resolve that. Cast Goblin Bombardment. And then cast Maha. Just hard cast it. Activate this. Kill that. I'm giving up like the 4 mana though. So yeah, we want to activate this. Yeah, I should have done this one first. Alright, because then we would have had an extra thing out. Evoke that. Oh. Alright, so draw my cards. Activate Ashnod's Altar. Sack that again. Get another copy. Draw 3 more cards. Resolve that. Evoke this. Submit 0. Okay, they're off it now. Yeah, then we can kill the rest of their creatures off and then start attacking. It's a very complex deck, and it uses up a lot of time. Alright, so that was Ashling, and I think we got to do the cool thing enough times to really show off what she is capable of. So I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Have a good rest of your day.